Well, hey everybody, I'm John Huffman. I'm the husband to the amazing homeschool mom, Elizabeth, who's actually in the other room in the audience right now, father to 3 incredible kids, whose future in a strong and prosperous America is worth fighting for. And I'm currently the mayor of Southlake, Texas, where we have delivered over and over again for almost 10 years conservative results that we wish we were seeing in Washington, D.C. Things like balancing budgets and cutting taxes in a real way. And most importantly, and maybe most famously, fighting CRT and the evil ideology of cultural Marxism and pushing back on those things and ripping them out of our schools. We fought and won, and that's what we need in the next congressional member from District 26. I'm running for Congress because these are not normal times. The insanity of the federal government is very seriously threatening our way of life. And if we send a Republican who's going to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic to DC, it's not going to work. I'm fighting because I have a proven record of winning conservative victories and I want to do it in the District 26.
Okay. Well, John, we have 4 questions from 4 different political groups, and we're going to go through those. We're going to start with Wise Republic Party. This is the question. What is the purpose of our government in the world, and what, if any, relations should we have with other countries?
So I'll tell you the purpose of our constitutional government. This comes from the preamble of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. The purpose of our government is to protect our God-given rights. And this is really important because we've missed this as a culture. Our kids aren't even taught this in schools. Our rights come from God, not the government. Why is that so important? Well, that's so important because we know that, and the founders knew when they wrote these things into the Constitution, that if our rights come from government, then government can take them away. So the whole purpose of government, as laid out in our founding documents, is to protect our God-given rights. And it's very important that America is a beacon of freedom and a beacon of those God-given rights, those natural rights, in everything we do worldwide as well. But that's what we have to return the federal government to. Right now, we have a weaponized federal bureaucracy that is trying to put us under its thumb. We need to get back to a point where the government is designed and specifically intended on protecting our God-given rights.
Our second group represented here tonight is the Southwise Republican Club, and this is their question. Immigration and protecting our national sovereignty are always talking points, but never get solved. What would be your solution to creating a merit-based immigration system and protecting our borders?
Well, let's be very clear. This is a national crisis, not a border crisis. It is a national crisis, and it's being done intentionally. Biden and Mayorkas have intentionally broken this border because they want to destabilize this country with mass illegal immigration. And I'm going to try to run through 6 points really quickly that we have to solve and that I'm going to fight for in Congress. Number 1, we have to reinstitute Remain in Mexico. Number 2, declare war on the drug cartels. Fight them where they are. Number 3, we absolutely have to reclaim and revisit the idea of birthright citizenship. It doesn't work if we don't do it. Number 4, we have to deport. We have millions of illegals that have come under Biden. They've got to go back to their point of origin or this will never stop. Number 5, we have to impeach Mayorkas. The man has failed and he's done so intentionally. Get him out of office. And number 6, for heaven's sakes, we have to elect a Republican president in 2024 so that we can start to unwind this and get back to the America we know.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Our next group is the Patriot Society of Boyd, Texas. As an elected member of Congress, you will swear an oath to the U.S. Constitution to defend against enemies both foreign and domestic. Will you author and support bills to defund the FBI and any other federal agencies weaponized against the American people? And please explain how you would accomplish that.
Let's be really clear. There is a weaponized federal bureaucracy that is actively trying to destroy every single part of our culture that made it great. And it's a serious threat because these bureaucrats don't work for you and they don't work for me. They're not accountable to us. We didn't vote for them and we can't fire them. And they are all weaponized against us, against Christians, against conservatives, against folks in the country and folks in the suburbs. People like the people in District 26. We have to defund the woke, weaponized FBI. We have to get rid of useless departments filled with DEI, like the Department of Education. What are they doing? We have to get rid of the folks who are actively fighting our way of life because the bureaucrats want to run everything. The bureaucrats want to be in control. They want to keep you poor, they want to keep you dependent, and they want to put you under their thumb because that's how they stay in power and that's how they get rich off the public dole. It's got to stop, and I'm going to do that in Congress.
Our fourth and last question comes from the Wise County Conservatives. Based on your understanding of the U.S. Constitution, in what circumstances, if any, can a state lawfully nullify a federal action or a written law or policy?
That's a great question. The concept of federalism is totally lost. So I went to law school in Georgetown. I'm a recovering lawyer. I own a small business now. We studied the idea of federalism in the Constitution, where states have the locus of power and they are preeminent over the federal government. That's how the Constitution was written. It was not written where the federal government is preeminent, and that happened with the Great New Deal and Wickard versus Filburn and a whole slew of terrible court cases that should be overturned, never will be. We have to start asserting the idea that states have their own constitutional powers. And in fact, in the 10th Amendment, all the powers not reserved for the federal government, not specifically reserved for the federal government, are with the states. So why aren't the states asserting those powers? And as a federal legislature, I will support any legislation that gives that real constitutional power back to the states so they can start to assert themselves and become the dominant force in our federal system that they were meant to be.